Hey, good morning. Welcome to Shores Prepping. I'm your host, Greg. Excuse me just one second here. Gotta have a sip of coffee. I've tried to do this several times, and so listen. Here in the United States, and I've done a lot of research on this, here in the United States, there are no bomb shelters, fallout shelters, nuclear fallout shelters for the civilian population. None of them are active that we know of that are publicized. None of them are in working condition. Most of them are used for stage props or museum pieces. And I remember when I was growing up and in elementary school, we had tornado drills and fallout drills and everything else. And the advice to them given to us was hide underneath your desk and wait till the all clear button. Well, we all know how that works. So basically what I'm telling you is here in the United States, the government does not care about the civilian population. Now, there are fallout shelters in which there are huge, massive caverns, Cheyenne, mountains, the Crystal Mountain, the Appalachian Mountain. There's also one underneath Washington, D.C., in which authorized, predetermined people get to hide out, live, and survive. And when I say these are massive, semi-trucks are going in there, and they can feed a population of 40, 50,000 people, or whoever is designated to survive the nuclear war, gets to go in there, and the blast doors are sealed, which are impenetrable. And you get to live underground until the all clear is given. The United States is last in taking care of its civilian population. They don't care. Finland, on the other hand, has over 3,000 nuclear fallout shelters spread out across the country, underground, that can take up to 3,000 to 5,000 civilians at a time. Some of them are equipped with pools, gymnasiums, and everything else, and can feed them for up to 3 to 6 months, depending on the natural catastrophe or the nuclear war. And those are all spread out across the country. So in Finland, you have a very good chance of surviving, underground because the bunkers are prepped and prepared. It's mandatory. Israel is another one that has hardened shelters in case of an air raid attack, missile attack, nuclear bomb. Virtually at every bus stop or designated location all across Israel, there are hardened shelters with food and medicine inside that can handle up to 12 people at a time. And those are all over Israel. Switzerland has the most nuclear fallout shelters. It is state law, country law, that they have that, prepared with food and maintained by its city, township, or residents. So it's under your obligation to maintain your own shelter. Have food in there, water, medicine, and protect your community under a fallout shelter. There are many, many countries that do it. China is one of the leading ones with its air raid fallout shelters. They won't tell us how many, but with, billion population, there's a lot of people that are not going to make it, but there are just as many that will make it. They aim to survive and dominate. But here in the United States, not going to happen. You're on your own. So, FEMA has this. And again, these are free for the taking, just one page. Gives you helpful hints on how to survive, how to survive a nuclear fallout shelter. They tell you to get to the basement. They tell you to cover the vents. They tell you, sit tight, get rid of your contaminated clothing and everything else. It's very good advice. I highly recommend you read up on it. One of the books recommended by another channel, but also found on my own, Nuclear War Survival Skills. And you can see this. I got this from Amazon. I don't remember the price, but it is very good reading, kind of tedious. However, reading through this, it does have plenty of facts, pictures on how to build fallout shelters, fresh air, supplying food and everything else. Worth the money. This is Crescent Kearney, 1987 edition. Trying to see if there was a price on it. Don't see it. But Nuclear Facts and Shelter Self-Help Instructions, Nuclear War Survival Skills. And again, it has a lot of diagrams, a lot of pictures. And people say, oh, well, you know, if I die, I'll just be incinerated. Why do that? Well, that's up to you. Myself, I prefer to live until God calls me. And I'm in rural America, so they are not going to waste a tactical nuke or a nuclear bomb to kill cows, sheep, and goats. So I want to survive, and I want to survive the nuclear wind, the fallout, and everything else. So I'm taking this very seriously. Again, reading as much as I can factually and knowing how to prepare for it. Knowing the government will not help you. That's part of being prepared. You're on your own and how to prepare for that. Now, that being said, say you're in, a blast zone. Here in Ohio, Wright-Patt Air Force Base is a nuclear target. We already know that. Say you're down there around Dayton and everything else, and they get hit, which is likely. What are you going to do? First off, you better get your ass home and button up and be prepared. You better arm yourself, because there are people that have lost everything that are surviving and are going to be looking for food, water, and shelter. And if you have it, don't share it, they'll take it. A lot of times they probably won't even ask, they'll try and take it. If you have yourself prepared and you know how to defend yourself, you know how to defend your property, you have a plan in place, chances are very good you will survive and live. And not only that, it's not going to be like Mad Max, desert, wasteland, or anything else. The ground will come back. You can grow crops. You can have livestock. And you can keep on going. That's just my advice to you. You figure out what you want to do. I've shown you some advice. Again, I highly recommend, and this is through Amazon, updated and expanded 1987 edition Crescent Kearney, and forward by Edward Teller, Nuclear War Survival Skills. Highly recommend it. Gives you some ideas. If not, you can always go to FEMA, see if you're on their first list, because it's all equitable now. Help read about that and see what you need to do. I recommend you load up on plastic Visqueen to cover your windows, long-term food, and iodine pills for the thyroids, and good luck to you. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Get yourself right with God. Greg out.